Hi, welcome to Dark Souls 3. We're taking on Pontiff Sulyvahn. I can never remember his name properly. This is Bryher, fighting him again. I've got Bryher here to narrate a little bit. Hi, Bryher.
Hello, people.
So this is our very first attempt. We'll have a look at this and then his various attacks, then some of Bryher's deaths, and then the final attempt. You tend to do quite well on your first interaction with most bosses. I call it beginner's luck.
I think actually it's a high level of... look, we're all good.
I mean, to be fair, you do your dodges for the most part are pretty good, and when you're seeing someone for the first, it's that one. Your aggressive heals.
I'm still going to stand by, standing right in front of bosses and healing, because I've done it quite a lot, and I'm now 5 bosses in front of him, and it still tends to work quite well for me. But it just depends on how much of an aggressive player you are. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't, but the boss will die eventually.
Well, eventually, yes. But it's just... yeah, you'll see in some of the deaths. We'll talk about what happens during the second phase, but you can see Bryher's still surprised by the fact bosses have second phases and they do damage in their transformation, and it's usually your undoing in your first run. Anyway, this is the route to the boss from the bonfire in the church. There's a shortcut you can unlock if you've got your back to the boss fog. Head down the right hand stairs. Watch out for 2 dudes at the bottom, but you can just beeline up there and head straight in. Now, here are his attacks at the beginning. He always does that attack. So you want to learn to dodge it like that, and you can get a couple of cheeky hits in. Generally, if you stay too close, he's going to go kind of bananas with his sword. You'll see here, he tends to swipe with the fire sword and thrust with the magic sword, although not always, and he'll do a maximum of 6 hits in a combo.
The best thing I found was running around him. There was a lot of space there that's used, which is good if you don't want to heal while standing in front of him like that. Best to run down one of the aisles and do it there.
But you can also, he'll do this little spin around move and then an overhead chop, which can actually hurt quite a lot with his fire sword. You can see a thrust there, then a swipe, then a double hit and an overhead chop again. There it is. And that's kind of telegraphed, so you need to roll late rather than early. Now when you get him down to about half health, he'll spout some wings. If you're too close, he will be kicking off damage, but then he'll back off and raise his sword in the air and summon a phantom.
This is you playing here, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, this was the one go I had about halfway through your attempts. I haven't put that death in. But what you want to try and do is damage the phantom. If you kill the phantom, he'll basically be on his own for a bit, and then eventually he'll stop to raise it again, and at that point you want to run in and do damage to them both. And you can get the damage, you can usually kill the phantom pretty quickly and also be getting damage on him at the same time. So you can kind of kite them, but you'll see basically the phantom does one move and then he does the same move half or a second later. But taking down the phantom, I think personally, is the most effective method. When the phantom's active, he has like a dirty jump in the air followed by a fire AoE explosion, like that. He also has a soul spear, which they will both do if they're both active, and then a jump without an AoE as well. You can see again the Phantom doing it a half second before him, and then they follow it with the AoE there, which is just, it's cruel. If you let the Phantom get out of control, it's going to be all over. Now, Bryher, these are your attempts. You actually did better in the beginning, in the first 5 goes or so. You can see you're getting him down to about half health here. And then you took a pretty big step backwards where you didn't really make a dent in him.
I know this frequently happens when I'm killing bosses, but you always know there's a period of some pretty bad consecutive deaths, like that one. Ooh, this guy.
Yeah, you were curious about what a purple summon sign did, so I said, why not try out? And that's how you found out what it did.
That was a mistake, and I think you could have forewarned me about what was going to happen.
And actually, to be fair, what we're not showing here is the fact that you actually spent a lot longer dodging this guy and just learning his attacks, and all I'm showing is the deaths. Like, you don't just run in and die. There's a couple where you do. You literally walk up and he kills you in the first 3 hits. But for the most part, you're actually kiting him around for about 30 seconds, learning how to avoid his attacks.
So the deaths are just gratuitous?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, right.
But I thought I would show, it's not unreasonable to expect to take a few goes on this guy. And annoyingly, I think you still beat him in fewer deaths than I did the first time.
I think we're going in for the winning go, aren't we now?
This is the one.
So we do the massive roll at the beginning because we know that's coming. Get our cheeky hits in. This was always good.
Yeah, I mean, you punish him at the start because you can afford to take a couple of hits and just toe-to-toe with him.
Using the aisles for my juice drinking, but still manages to be right in front of him.
Your biggest issue, I find, with all bosses and actually some fights, is not having them in your vision.
Yes, but this is because I don't know how to use the controls.
Yeah, that's also true.
And now there is the killing. No, it's the best time to do it. And now there is the killing of the shadow because he goes a little bit still when the shadow appears. So that's when you can do as much hitting as possible, provided your stamina allows you to.
Yeah, you did have a bit of a stamina issue there. What you'll tend to do...
I didn't kill the shadow. And that's the second shadow.
Yeah. What you'll tend to do is roll in. No, I think it's the first shadow. But you'll roll in unnecessarily too much and actually burn all your stamina while you're doing it. Now you see there's a fire AoE where you nearly died, but actually what happens is you manage to kite him around for a little bit. I think you get a couple more hits in him. And then he goes to raise his phantom buddy, at which point you can just lay into him here.
This is the best thing to do. Get the phantom immediately.
But as it turns out, you took him down. Good job. Only 14 deaths required.
14 deaths. I just want to reiterate how pleased I was when that finally happened. Because it felt like a lot more. And ta-da, I've got my sparkly ember.
Sparkly ember. Anyway, on the left, Yorm the Giant, and on the right, we're going to deal with the Dragon Slayer armor. Click the eye on the top right for access to that and more, and I'll see you in the next video. Lots of love, bye!
Bye-bye!